I would hand over the jackets as gifts sometimes to bigger personalities, you know what I mean, people with big following, and sometimes it would be arrogantly received, and people wouldn't follow really what I've, even though you would ask a person that I'm expecting you to really put the jacket out there. The thing is, a lot of people know me from social media because of the past relationship that I had with Zuzoleka Mandela. And because of that, I think I've gained a lot of followers, that are also emotionally attached to Uzo. May her soul rest in peace. A kid from a rural area doesn't have an opportunity to be shaking hands with Pharrell Williams until that kid proves himself.
Yeah.
And in that process of him proving himself, there are gatekeepers, people that purposely block other people's ways of reaching their fullest potential.
Good day, my lovely people. This is Love and Lessons podcast with Mathilda Mapori. Today, we are joined by an incredible artist who turns ordinary jackets into powerful wearable art. Through paint, color, and storytelling, they transform fashion into a canvas that speaks about identity, love, creativity, emotions, and everyday life. I'm joined by Mr. Kana, marked by Kana. You're welcome, Mr. Leroy, to my podcast. I really appreciate you honoring my invite.
Thank you. I appreciate it too.
Can you just tell us about yourself, where you come from?
All right. Okay. Well, I would love to say thank you for inviting me to the podcast. I think I've been declining quite a number of podcasts in the past, and like some interviews and stuff. Not many people really know where I come from, but people have seen me on social media many a times, and on TikTok, Instagram, and stuff. But originally I'm from East London. I was born in East London, so grew up in East London, juggling between East London and Cape Town. Between those two cities, and I furthered my studies obviously in Cape Town. So I pretty much have a Xhosa blood on me, Xhosa traditions and everything, you know what I mean? And just a little bit of KZN as well. Spent some time in KZN, which is Pietermaritzburg in particular. Yeah, so that's one of my families that are in there. So I did experience the Zulu side as well of things, yeah. So that's where I'm from, yeah.
Okay, wow. Marked by Kana.
Yeah.
Jackets are instantly recognizable. Yeah. They take us back to day one. So take us back to day one, actually. When did you officially launch the brand, and what was the real inspiration or that aha moment that made you pick up the brush and turn them into art?
Yeah, it's a very interesting story, regarding like how I started the brand and stuff. So I'm a graduate in multimedia, so I've got a degree on multimedia. So, I've got a solid background as far as, design, developing a concept, coming up with a concept, actually doodling the concept and then develop it into, something, and proceed then from that that concept and do like a final product. This has started the dream of this is very funny because just after high school, when I finished high school, I had a gap year. And that gap year, I found a lot of things. I found out a lot of things about myself. I have a sport background as well, so I used to play a lot of cricket, a lot of boxing, a lot of football. So after high school, I really didn't know what exactly I wanted to do, whether I should pursue sports. Because obviously at home, they also wanted me to pursue sports because I was very good in sports. In every single sporting code that I touched on. I even stayed in the United Kingdom, in the UK for cricket in particular, you know what I mean? So I always had a hand and eye coordination and stuff like that. But I had this magnificent talent in art, and I wanted to advance that art into something that's combined with technology and So hence the the studies of like graphics and motion graphics and graphic design and stuff, that I've chosen, to combine with the artistic mindset that I already had to develop that creative side of me. However, there was a local gentleman where I used to stay that used to do these traditional wear outfits, umbhako for weddings and the ceremonies, the closest traditions, moluko and everything, where you put on these a fabric with beads on it, so he developed a technique that was strange back then. I don't know how he found out about my art, but we used to draw in these fabrics. You know what I mean? We draw these artworks in the fabrics, and then when he because he was older than us, he was already making money, and we didn't know about it. It's only now that I know that I was making so much money. You know what I mean? Using my artwork, my intellectual property. But funny, that's those clothing items that I was making at that time, for him, because he would give me the fabric to go back, to go, maybe he would finish the skirt, like let's say he's making a traditional skirt, he would finish it and then hand it over to me to go home and do some fabric painting on it of a certain image. Some of them I would keep them at home. And those acted as a portfolio for me to actually go to varsity because I didn't have a professional portfolio. So it's one of the things that I've showcased when I went to varsity that, hey, look, I can do this. And that's how I was accepted in the design school and stuff like that. So the life unfolded like that without me even knowing what was happening, but God was in charge all the time. He managed to put these bits and pieces of hints of the things that I can do to be able to advance myself into this design world, this creative world and stuff like that. So I can tell you straight up that, the dream hinted me at those times, that there's a skill that I cannot ignore, So even when I tried to get into other fields like finance and working somewhere else, when that had nothing to do with design, I worked for Standard Bank, big corporation companies, and I've worked for auto in general and stuff like that. I'm doing something totally different from what I've studied for. But I always had this thing in my mind, like, hey, what am I gonna do with the design? It was, and even another thing is a lot of people used to poke me about this. Every time I walk into these companies that I used to work for, a guy would be just saying, like maybe someone I'm friends with, like would be saying, like, hey, you look like some boss of some company. And so I'm, hey, this thing started as a joke, but it was eating on me. I'm like, what is it that these people are seeing in me that makes them make this regular? Because it wasn't one person. It was different people saying the same thing. Then I decided one year that, you know what, like this thing is just bothering me so much. I feel like I can do something. I can put the energy that I'm actually putting on this work, I can actually just go outside. But the criticism that I have of myself at that time, I didn't have a background checking on how it's going to be. Like I didn't have a layout. I didn't plan that when I resign at work, this is what I'm going to do. I need to register this. I have to, save this amount of money for capital and all of those things. So my dream started basically in 2019. Okay. And even then in 2019, when this whole Marked by Kana thing started, it started as a friend of mine forgetting his jacket at my place, in my apartment. He forgot his denim jacket. And I looked at, I was dating at that time, and the girl that I was actually dating at the time, like I asked her, hey, what do you think of this jacket? Because I put it on. It's like, this jacket is so nice. Whose jacket is it? And I said, it's my friend's jacket. But hey, I actually want it, man. Like, and because I know me and my friend were like so close to each other, so I decided to take the jacket. This one time, I decided to bleach the jacket at the back. And then it turned into this beautiful golden color at the back. And then I drew a picture of my face. This is one time that I was experimenting on clothing item, after that long time ago, I was doing that local thing with that guy long time ago. And then I drew this thing. And then I went out to the market. There was neighbor goods market at that time in Braamfontein. And the reaction from people,
wow,
it was a Levi jacket. And the reaction from people were like, what? What is this? Where did you get this? And I was like, really? Is this really like something that really that's capturing people's attention?
Yeah.
Like people were so shocked to a point that they wanted the number, because I couldn't tell them who did this. Just in case they want to criticize, and then I was gonna, so I'm saving my emotions, and I don't know if I really want to spill out the tea where I got the jacket, but I've noticed a lot of people were talking money. That man, you must tell the designer, man, I've got $800, to actually, if the designer can actually do this for me. And I figured out, I'm like, wait a minute, I just resigned from work not knowing what to do, but could be one of the things that I'm actually doing, And I actually, at that time, I registered in a security company and a media company. It was called CCC at that time, Kana Creative Concepts, before it turned into MarkedbyCan. So it was predominantly going to be specifically about the graphic design, motion graphics and whatever. I was going to freelance, and stuff like that. But when I started seeing the amount of attention that I was getting wearing that one jacket multiple times when I went out, it was then the indication for me that, wait a minute, if I can get this kind of attention and I can monetize it. And a lot of people reached out to me and paid, brought their own jackets before I decided to supply the jackets. They brought their own jackets and I would do these things and I could make a substantial amount of money. I'm like, okay, if I can keep people interested in this, this was 2019, then I can... Then the breakthrough that I got from that was one person who came to visit the compound that I was staying in. Beautiful gentleman. I think he worked for TS Records. I think probably your previous guest, DJs, who would probably know him. But I think he was a driver of the, the transport at TS Records. And he came over. This gentleman came and he was on some... Yo, man, what are you doing? Because he saw me sitting outside and painting. It's like, and then he looked at the things that I'm doing. It's like, whoa, I know TS record artists that would like these kind of things. Like, I thought he was playing. So I'm like, yeah, da. And I actually gave him my number and then he went off. Next thing, because I had a true caller on my phone. You know when you call someone, you don't have their number, it shows who's calling name. And stuff like that. Yeah, it shows their name. Then my phone rang. I think it was a couple of days after that, like 3-4 days after that, my phone rang. I'm like, Vusi Nova. Like, I'm like, who? Okay, I thought maybe I don't know what I was thinking at that time in an answer. And I could hear it's actually Vusi Nova. And at that time, it was... starting, to really, 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 like getting into the limelight and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, Vusi Nova. No, but I know Vusi, like, it's like, yo, man, I heard about you. I actually stay here in Melville as well, man. Like, I heard what you're doing, I'm going to come to your place and bring some jackets. I thought he was fooling around. And then he came through. He brought a bag of denim jackets, a lot, like a package of denim jackets. And he asked me, and at that time, I didn't have a complete business model, but I had a price in mind. I'm like, I'm just going to charge 2,500. And he paid it cash. All of it. Actually, he transferred, all of it. And then I did whatever that I did at that time. And I was like, oh, okay, if people like Vusi Nova can reach out to me, man, what's going to stop a Chris Brown? Exactly. What's going to stop you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how I went about it. So basically, that's when I noticed the dream started there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
From that first jacket to now, what has the journey been like, building MarkedbyCan? You've worked with some heavy names already, like you mentioned your Vusi Nova. Without dropping the full client list just yet, who are the 2-3 public figures, celebrities you've created costumes pieces for?
Yo,
that really those people that they shifted your brand to another
momentum.
level.
Yeah. I must say the journey has been challenging, to be honest with you, like because I do my own marketing of the brand. It's an unusual skill. People that are not
Yes.
accustomed to, like really,
Yes.
really not, like this is something that really surprising a lot of people. I would tell you something though, that I thank South African black women for supporting my brand.
Yes.
Without
Shout
them,
out to the
I
black
can
women.
guarantee you, without them,
Yes.
the brand would have been nothing. Because South African black women went all out to really support the brand and really support the brand to a point where even the guys, men that are wearing my jacket, it is because the lady has ordered the jacket for them and wanted to surprise them. There are a few guys, that I've made jackets for and stuff like that, so I just wanted to put it out there. You know what I mean? I can tell you something. I've made a jacket for an American famous boxer known worldwide, Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Oh, wow.
I've made a jacket for Chris Brown. There's some controversial things around some of the jackets that I've made. You know what I mean? I've made a jacket for Chris Brown, Floyd Mayweather Jr. I've met Floyd. Chris Brown, some stuff with the jacket, you know what I mean? But the jacket was fantastic. I made a jacket for Black Coffee. There's also another story, behind the jacket. I hope Black Coffee, you watching this, you better be watching this, sometime, if this comes into your way, you gotta know how I made your jacket and when I made your jacket and what was the reason I made your jacket for. And Gogo Esther Mahlangu, that's
the legendary.
Probably the legendary for me, the big legendary for me, inspired by obviously the Ndebele artwork.
Yes.
Yeah, I try to emulate the same style of art in the jacket that I've actually made for Gogo Mahlangu, incredible artist, and Connie Ferguson for me probably stands out, based on how she received the jacket, when she received the jacket, and what she did when she received the jacket. Soul Phenduka, my boy, shout out to Podcast and Chill, shout out to Soul Phenduka. Thank you so much, man. Personally, the first time I've literally made a jacket for somebody who went out of his way to really speak about the talent that I have, the brand that I have, together with MacG. MacG, I don't really know much about MacG, but I know him. I met him, probably one time, you know what I mean? A cool guy, fantastic, well-spoken. And he spoke about my jacket a couple of times in his show, and drew a lot of attention to myself, you know what I mean? And those are the figures that I've worked with. There's that I've created a jacket for Podcast and Chill, created a jacket for MacG, created a jacket for Soul. As I said, Connie Ferguson, Gogo Esther Mahlangu, DJ Sbu. I've made a jacket for DJ Sbu, the Vusi Novas, the Somizi, Mamkize. The list is endless. You know what I mean? Some jackets that I've created were just purely based on gifts. I would give them away. Give them away is obviously a technique that I use to loop the attention towards my direction, to obviously knock on the doors and say, hey, I've got this talent. A difficult skill to master.
It is.
Because it needs a lot of begging and following around, And just one more thing, there was a jacket that I've made. And this is a very important thing, because I just want to encourage people at home, never give up on their dream, especially when something has to do with art. It's easy to give up because nobody really pays attention at the beginning, Made a jacket for Miss Universe, Zozi. She didn't know nothing about me. She was in the height of her career, that's just when she won Miss Universe and stuff like that. Gave it to her agent. The agent sent it to her. And I'm busy trying to figure out when is she gonna, wear the jacket and post it. That's the thing about, like sometimes these celebrities, when are you gonna, what's difficult to put on a jacket, man, and say, hey, so the local designer did this for me, you know what I mean? And, because I was just expecting what Connie Ferguson did, what Sol Phenduka did, you know what I mean? And how I caught that she wore my jacket, Zozi, is because in one of her pictures that she posted, she was wearing a black, I think it was a leather jacket, black leather jacket, plain black, and black leather pants. I think it was from Gucci, if I'm not making a mistake. It was quite some time ago. But at one time, her jacket was open up, the black one, and I saw my jacket underneath the jacket. I'm like, this lady, why doesn't she, take off this black thing and rock my jacket, man? Because my jackets are unique. It will capture a lot of people's attention because the work that's on the jacket is not to be played with.
No.
You know what I mean? It's attention to detail, artwork. I know exactly what I'm doing because I've studied for it and I have an eye for a good thing. You know what I mean? I know which colors to use and you know what I mean? So, that's how I caught the glimpses that if this lady has so much clothes in her wardrobe, sponsored by these so many
Designer
big brands and stuff, but yet she chooses to wear my jacket, you know what I mean? This means something. So there were a lot of hints, along the way, as I'm going along, I would catch those glimpses and I would say, you know what I mean? If I stick into this, even through hunger, suffering, not having money, I still persisted. And I knew exactly that this is because I'm building a foundation. So I'm willing to be hungry. The same way as the people that own these big companies were willing to put their reputation online, being laughed at, being spoken about, losing everything in the quest of you knowing one day you will be your own boss and employ people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Wow. I'm so amazed. Oh, wow. By the way, I'm rocking the jacket. When he says every detail matters, I can attest to that. I'll stand up at the end of the show and I'll show you every detail of this jacket. I love it. Oh my God. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And you feel good inside. Like I feel so good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about the present day.
Yeah.
What state is marked by Kana right now? Are you still a one-man army and looking ahead? How are you planning to scale? Are you looking to bring on a team? And what dream brand collaborations are you on for the 2026 vision board?
Look, it's always been my dream to scale up the business. I think technically, you gotta understand that as a one person, you're always gonna need a team. I think every successful team, every successful brand out there has a team of people that have eyes on the ground. You have people that are in charge of marketing, people that are in charge of sales, people in charge of this and that, and all those eyes combine into creating success. But this is also something that can be hindered by the lack of finances, you know what I mean? And those finances can be a challenge. That's why there's fundings out there, government fundings, Now, it's a controversial conversation to actually talk about the process that has been made so difficult to get these fundings for nothing, because people with talent are suffering, trying to get these fundings to help the people of this land to get the jobs that the country is crying about, that there are no jobs. There are people that can create jobs are being blocked from getting the same fundings that we're looking for. You know what I mean? We apply for this and that, we get blocked here and there and there and there and there. So as a result, the team can be really established and be made because people expect to be paid in the process, and in these processes of people trying to get paid, you find out that that the foundation of your business, the one that you're building, takes longer than it was supposed to, simply because it's hindered by these finances, as I'm saying, you know what I mean? And without having these finances, you can't get out of that foundation stage.
Yes.
Because it will then because out of that foundation stage is when you can rope certain people that, okay, this is going to be the lady that is going to be dealing with proposals, for instance. She's going to be doing the marketing and proposals. She's going to be the one that goes to these big brands to say, hey, there's Marked by Kana who would like to join forces with Levi to collaborate for a certain brand. I would love to work with Maxhosa brand, for instance.
yes.
I know Laduma personally. I've spoken to Laduma a few times, but I don't know if you know Laduma, that I want to work with you and you create, you have the keys to create a certain, I think also, who's this gentleman? Tsepo Jeans. Tsepo Jeans, fantastic designer as well.
Beautiful.
Same as Laduma, same kind of things, a brand that is already developed, backed up by finances and stuff like that. We're still at the bottom stage where we're still looking who has finances to say, this kid has an amazing talent. How can we actually help this gentleman to actually get, that's why I tried the podcast and chill route, to do those jackets with MacG, even though they helped me with marketing. But I was hoping to do a mass production with them, because that's the next stage of the business. How can the jacket that you're wearing now, how can I duplicate this jacket 50 times, 500 times for the podcast and chill, the chillers, for the followers, You cut the panels that compile this jacket into a complete jacket. You cut the arms, you cut the front, you cut the back, you scan all of those into a scanner. It reveals itself in a computer, obviously, Then you send it to the factory in China. The Chinese people will reduplicate this jacket into multiple jackets, 500 units. We'll put them in the outlets, we'll put them in the offices of Podcast and Chill. Chillers wants to find out, where do you get the Podcast and Chill jacket? And if I designed that jacket before, we can duplicate those jackets and make them and distribute to people, So that's where the brand is actually currently at, is to try and get myself into mass production, try and get myself a brand deal. With that brand deal, the finances come and say, this is the budget that we have for this deal that you have, for instance, with Levi. Let's say we would like to work with you. We're trying to, let's say, let me make an example with the local, with Tsepo Jeans or Maxhosa. Maxhosa say, this is the budget we have. Then I can rope somebody else and say, hey, let me employ a young black woman who's going to be making sure that I'm on time with my production. I stick with the concept that has been given by Maxhosa. I've been, I follow every, protocol that leads into the final product that I'm going to present to Maxhosa and say, hey, this is, the final product, and or so on and so forth. So with me being given the finances, it give somebody else a job as well, and somebody else will recommend somebody else to say, you know what, I think you need someone who's going to be a runner to go and fetch this and to go. So it's that kind of process, that needs to be looked at by someone. My soul have so much money, they going around on social media and But those are the people that can put finances into something positive that can create jobs in the country that is currently struggling with unemployment. You know what I mean? They can invest and say, you know what, if I can give out 50,000, in the club and what, I can give 100,000 to something that can grow into investment. Do you understand what I mean? That's the kind of thing that I'm actually looking at. So currently with Bafana though, give you an example, approach Adidas. We approach Adidas to actually, even though I'm against this handover thing, like I don't want to hand over things without giving my jackets as a gift anymore, because, it didn't turn out the way really that I wanted it to turn, because I would hand over the jackets as gifts sometimes to bigger personalities, you know what I mean, people with big following, and sometimes it would be arrogantly received, and people wouldn't follow really what I've, even though you would ask a person that I'm expecting you to really, put the jacket out there and, talk about it if you can, not even being forceful, just being, generous.
Just display it.
Yeah, it's just a human, ubuntu nje. Yabo ubuntu nje ubeke omunye umuntu on the map, yabo. But some people will be hoarding these jackets and not going out there and speaking about them, you know what I mean? So I've approached Adidas, for instance, in regards with, I'm trying to push the mass production because I'm unique. Nobody can do what I'm doing. You can design what you want to design, but there's only one Kana. And that's me.
Kana.
And it's not a mistake. I'm not going to apologize for nothing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
The nickname that is under my Instagram, it says MarkedbyCan _ the best ever. I'm not playing games with nobody. You know what I mean? So I know exactly what I can do, with my mind given a good platform.
Yes.
I'm not even being arrogant or cocky about it. It's just that I know the tools that I can provide if I can be given a proper platform, proper investments, and I can create a team that can help the people that have no jobs that I know for sure that are brilliant, that are talented. For instance, with this jacket alone, I can create a team that can just, in the events that I do, sometimes I do red carpet events or fashion shows, I can bring about these young photographers.
Definitely.
If you go to malls now or public spaces, you see there's guys standing on the streets taking pictures, taking pictures in the malls, like in the passages on the, not really, like maybe on the outside, like Rosebank, those are the guys that you need to take in the events that, what, I'm going to give you a platform, wherever I'm going or wherever I'm doing an event, come.
Yes.
Photographers are needed. You know what I mean? That's what is happening in America and stuff like that. Don't bunch in one place. You know what I mean? Come to events. Come, and it's the trend that I've been seeing actually, that is happening now when you have these events, you see influencers or celebrities come with their own photographers and stuff like that. And I also want to encourage that. So currently I'm in the process of growing the business into mass production and approach galleries and do these events that I'm talking about, so that a lot of people can rope into the business marked by Kana.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Kana, the Bible says that God says, knock and I will open. Ask and I will give.
Yeah, for sure.
So I speak grace upon your business.
Thanks.
Whatever that you desire, may God grant it,
appreciate it.
for you. All these artists, all this already established people, they will definitely consider partnering and working with you.
They better be watching this episode.
They better be watching because from here we are going to fast and pray.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't play here. There's nothing impossible with God.
Yeah, for sure.
That I can attest
No
to.
doubt about it.
You became a public figure partly because of your past relationship, which means people feel like they know you. How does the public actually receive you or receive MarkedbyCan when they see you?
Okay.
When they see you out there.
Yeah.
Has the fame helped or challenged the business?
I just want to that one is actually a very, controversial one. But look, I had a brand because the thing is, a lot of people know me from social media because of the past relationship that I had with Zuzoleka Mandela. And because of that, I think I've gained a lot of followers, that are always, also emotionally attached to Uzo. May her soul rest in peace. And because of that, I gain a lot of people that, took a liking on me, they love me, love to criticize me as well, like for my personal, reasons and stuff like that. But before I met Zo, I was marked by Kana. Even when I met Zo spoke about, because the only reason why I actually even met Zo of a lot of people that don't know about is Zo used to customize sneakers.
Oh, I remember.
And I used to customize denim jackets. So the idea of me meeting up with Zolega was to combine the two business ideas into something magical.
Wow.
And hence we came up with the Slumber and Tekkie, because Slumber represented the jackets and Tekkie obviously is the sneakers that she used to customize and stuff like that. So a lot of people fell in love with that idea, you know what I mean? So I stuck with the people even when Zoe passed on. I feel like, I think Connie Ferguson, when I gifted her the jacket for anniversary jacket with the late husband, she's the one that gave me popularity even before I met Zoe. So already, Mom Connie told me straight up, the day that I've gifted her the jacket, that I'm gonna make you an overnight star, because I'm gonna post you on my page. And indeed, like when she posted me, from the time I had only 2,000 followers at that time, and Mom Connie took those 2,000 followers into 7,000 followers. That was overnight. People from America, Ireland, everywhere were reaching out, trying to get the jackets.
Wow.
That's just Mom Connie posting. So by the time Zoe came, already I had a reputation of my own. I was known as a designer from a lot of people that know my background already, getting into a relationship with Zoe. So me and Zoe already, by the time I met her, always, also she had her own reputation as well, obviously, her being a Mandela and everything, and we compiled those two forces and it became something very big, you know what I mean? So a lot of people then, still receive me with that kind of same type of eye when they bump into me in the mall, and, even though, I've moved on, I'm currently, seeing somebody else, but, still, they still have that lingering in their mind, you know what I mean? That we know you for this, we know you for love. My thing is, if one thing that you can take out of, let's say, the Bible, for instance, you take one thing and you master it. Every relationship that I get into, I've mastered the art of loving somebody. Showing somebody love, what they do with the love that you're showing them is up to them. You know what I mean? But show the person that this is who I am. I'm willing to love you this way, type of thing. Don't be dodgy and diving and stuff like that, and trying to be, all these red pill and blah, 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 things that go on the internet and stuff like that. Show people love, then let them be the one, that reciprocate the same type of love that you're giving them, and, and you carry on a relationship like that, you know what I mean? Look after each other's, interests, and, encourage each other, support each other. I think obviously that's how I actually, conducted my relationships and stuff. So, with Marked by Kana and my past love stories and present love stories, there is a merge between those two, but it can also be separated, because Marked by Kana is the brand that I look at it, as a business brand, you know what I mean? And sometimes I don't want people to know Leroy, and Marked by Kana is the same person, you know what I mean? I'm trying to hide those two, because if I make a mistake in my personal life, it can dent then the Marked by Kana, you know what I mean? So I need to make sure that, sometimes I remember some of the videos that I actually post on Marked by Kana. I will always show the hand only, the story. I don't want to show myself actually doing that, just in case, I just don't want people to associate.
Somebody comments in a funny way.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that guy used to date that guy. I don't like him. So, he comes and dents the business. But I need the business people, the investors, to know there's a difference between a person, and a brand.
Yes.
So you cannot judge what a person does, even though you need to be watchful of what you do, in a reputation of your own brand, but you also, you gotta know that we're here to learn, and we're here to, to accept that we have mistakes. That's how we gain experiences and stuff like that. But the brand on its own, judge the brand on what it does and what it can deliver. You know what I mean? Yeah. So basically, that's
wow.
Yeah.
You became a public figure. Okay, no, I've asked you this one already. Now we're moving to the bigger picture. 5 years from now, what does success look like for Marked by Kana? Is it a global streetwear label, art gallery shows, or something we haven't thought of yet? What legacy do you want this brand to leave in South African fashion and culture?
5 years from now, you'll be seeing me on a Bentley. I'm joking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing. I've been stepping out on a Bentley.
We speak things into existence.
Yeah,
we speak things into existence.
But on a real though, I'll tell you something, man. You need to dream big, just like Kanye. Kanye West to speak things into existence and stuff like that. Is not scared to take on the world. I see big personalities like Pharrell Williams, who did very well with Louis Vuitton, and so the only thing that I admire when I actually look at Pharrell Williams on the videos is him sitting on the front row in those fashion shows, Louis Vuitton fashion shows, and and importantly, sitting with people that share the same sentiments. All the front row that you see, when he's getting up to clap hands after the fashion show, what does he do? He walks to the people that he admires the most. He shake hands to the Jay-Z's, to the Beyoncés, to the Rihannas, to the Chris Browns, because there's a certain status that you have to aim for when you have something going on for yourself. And unfortunately, the world is cruel that a kid from a rural area doesn't have an opportunity to be shaking hands with Pharrell Williams until that kid proves himself. And in that process of him proving himself, there are gatekeepers, people that purposely block other people's ways of reaching their fullest potential. There are rumors that each and every industry has got bad apples that uses their statuses to oppress talented people from reaching, stardom, for instance. You gotta fight through that. You gotta be able to fight through that. Do not stray, do not compromise yourself because you want to please so and so, and you ended up, using, as you said, if you don't put God first, you don't talk to God, you don't wake up, make it something that is that you do every day, that you wake up and pray. Say a little prayer, you know what I mean, to guide you for the day. Do you understand? Because that prayer will carry you to actually one day look at your DM and see a brand deal, say, hey, I've seen the jacket that you've done, you know what I mean? How about you visit my office, and we talk about this, I'm talking about honest people that wants to see the world a better place. I'm not talking about people that take advantage of little kids or taking advantage of other people and because they are in needy positions and stuff like that. But I'm talking about people that want to fix the world, do the right thing for other people. That's exactly the type of people that I would love to work with. And those are the people that, that I wish they can actually utilize the talent that we have in SA. You look at how many beautiful kids in South Africa. You go to a place like Rosebank in the weekend, you see all sorts of beautiful people, dark, short, tall, light, big, small, like every single beautiful person is in this land. If we carry on, make it a normal thing to put South African flag into anything that we do. You know, everything that you do, whether you have an exhibition or an event, have a South African flag in that event to show how patriotic you are, and make this a habit. You know, because I see sometimes when people are traveling to represent South Africa, they don't even have anything that has South African flag on it. But this jacket somewhere has to have a flag, a South African. If you look at the jacket right there on the other side, there's a picture of Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela there that you didn't see. It's a badge.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more South African than that.
Yeah.
At the back of the jacket, when you turn around, there's a South African flag on the jacket to represent the land that you're coming from and to give the kids that are somewhere else looking at this hope that one day, also, if I put myself out there, I will get an opportunity to sit on the podcast and expose myself. Follow MarkedbyCan _ the best ever. That's what's up. You already know what time it is.
Oh, MarkedbyCan, this is beautiful. Thank you for joining me today. Where can people follow you on social media, and how do they place an order if they want a jacket?
All right. Okay. I was kind of like... just to wrap it up, I'm just shying away from doing these individual jackets now, you know what I mean? Because obviously I'm looking at the bigger picture right now. And, you know, as I said, like the business needs to scale up and just do collaboration with corporate businesses, you know what I mean? And big businesses. But if you want to place an order, because obviously there's also been a sort of, I've made jackets for people, for instance, that have ordered me to make a family tree jacket where they have their faces on the jacket. They have a husband and a wife. They have a mother that passed away at the back and stuff like that. So I've created a lot of emotions with these jackets. So people place orders on my Instagram. So my Instagram handle is MarkedbyCan _ the best ever. Also on TikTok as well, I go by the same handle, MarkedbyCan _ the best ever. Same handle on Instagram, same handle on TikTok. That's how they can actually place orders. And obviously, you have to also, if you are around Johannesburg, you can attend my events and stuff like that, so you can see more and learn more about my jackets.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Guys, I'm just going to stand up and show you how I look with the jacket. We are out of time. Yeah. I'm going to make it quick. Like.
Beautiful.
Thank
Amazing.
you guys for joining us. Please subscribe, like, and share.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Cheers.